We saw that Excel gives us the ability to create charts, and there are many different types of charts. The one we're looking at now is a bar chart, and we saw that we can change the chart type just by clicking on Change Chart Type, and it'll give us a whole display of different types of charts, starting from, this case, column to line to pie, etc. And you can go through these to see which ones you might be interested in using in your particular data. So we are not going to spend time on this, but I do want to show you some other aspects of inserting graphs or graphic art as well that could help your charts look even nicer. We have the ability to add shapes. What to do is go to the top of our screen, click on Insert, and we're going to be putting in a shape. Look at all the many shapes we have. So for example, if I want to put in a smiley face, just double click and there we go. And we can move it around, of course. We can change the color if we wish, just like we can for any other particular shape that we have. And it pays for us to look at the many shapes that are available. Just skim them because we have lines and arrows, etc. that we may want to put in, and this can be used to highlight information. So for example, if I click on, let's say, line, and I would like to then point to a particular aspect of my bar chart as an example, and I just drag it over and let go, I now have a line. And if I wish, I can put in some information. For example, I can put in a text box to explain some more aspects of it. So I went to Insert, go to a text box, and I can decide where I want it to be, and I may want to just let go, have a little area, and in a text box I may say note, or I may say highest, and then I can expand the text box to provide enough room, and that might be an addition to emphasize some aspect of my bar chart or whatever chart I have. Let's move the smiley face over for now. Another way to enhance our chart, our graph, is to insert clip art. Now, clip art comes with the other Microsoft products as well, and to do that over here we're going to make use of a drawing that comes with the software. We may find something we like, we may not, but let's take a look how that is done. We will just go to Insert one more time, and this time we click on Clip Art, and we're going to have a whole bunch of choices. Now I happen to select the word sales prior to it, and you can type in any word you wish, and you select over here where it says search in. You have a choice. Do you want it to be in My Collections, Office Collections? I chose everywhere. And what type of media? So you have a choice also. I chose all, but you can have movies or just sounds, etc. And I look down to see if there's anything appropriate that I'd like to use, and when I find that, I will just click on it and insert it. So as I go down, there are just so many possibilities. See if it makes sense, and I see one. I'll say, well, let's try it, and I double click. This may be worth our while, it may not be, but let's put it in any event. Let's move it over, and we now have a clip art that we can have with our chart. Another way to enhance your graph is to make use of word art. Now, word art we can use to make drawings out of words. And to do that, let's go to, one more time, Insert, go across the top where it says Word Art, click on that, and we have a list of the type of the way it's going to look when I click on one of these. So for example, let's click on the A right down here and double click, and this is now I have the ability to put in my text, and if I wish I can move it down so that's easier for me to see and I don't have to have two things going on at the same time. Otherwise you can just type in over here. Let's just type it in, I guess it is easier. Let's type in A winning team. Okay, once we have it in, we can make it larger and we can move it as well. Pretty neat. And we now have incorporated three aspects into our graph. We have the shapes, we have the clip art, and we have the word art. There's more that we can do. We can also add what's called Smart Art. Smart Art provides for us some visual punch into our graphics. Not in the charts though. Visual representation of your information is always beneficial. It's different from a chart in that a chart utilizes numeric data. Smart Chart is typically used for text. Let's see how we can incorporate that. Let's first see the Smart Art. To do that, we go to Insert again, and we look for where it says Smart Art to utilize something which has what's called a detailed process. If I double click on that, I'm able to put in information and to make it much more interesting. Let's do one. Let's start to do one. I'll show you the finished product, whereby let's assume we sell, we're in the food business and we'd like to illustrate the food pyramid, and then we can show how our sales are in that area. So we'll go to Insert and we'll look at Smart Art, and if we go down, let's look at all the different shapes: process, cycle, hierarchy, relationship. If we go all the way down, we see there's one called pyramid, and let's click on that, the basic pyramid. The data that we have, we will get a finished product that looks something like this. We can put in more titles and we can expand it. We can change the color as well. Typically, Smart Art is used for organizational charts, to show steps in a process, or to show a relationship between parts, or to show repetitive information. Right now we have our grid lines. If we'd like to get rid of them, we can easily do that as well by clicking on our figure, and we can then take a look on the top one more time. We would go to View on top of the screen, and one of the choices there will be concerning the grid lines, and we can just uncheck it and they will disappear, and I might look much better this way. Another aspect of it I mentioned is about putting in color. Assuming we'd like to change one part of the pyramid, we can just click on that part, and then we can right click and go down to Format Shape and choose over here. Could be, right now it's solid fill. If we put in gradient, you see that it may be more appealing with a lighter color. In closing, we can also insert pictures, and we can insert also different symbols, and we can choose from these if one will be appropriate for your chart.